Let's take a look at the advanced features of Book Creator. I'm going to click on this plus icon to add content to my book. I want to click on more. By default, you'll see that you have access to upload files. So you can upload any file that you might have. It could be an image, it could be a PDF, and you can also embed content. So I can actually put a link to a YouTube video and it will live directly in my book. I can also put a link to a Google form or a Microsoft form or anything that has a web link and embed it. Ideally, you want it to have an iframe, like a YouTube video will come in very easily using that. So I can put that link in there and confirm and add it to my book. So those are just two advanced features that are already there, but we want to level up. So we're going to click over here and we want to click on add apps. When I click on add apps, you'll see it takes you to this apps dashboard. I want to get all of these awesome apps. So I'm going to click on add. So I want to add gifts to mine. When I go into add it lets me select all of the books or some of the books. So you can choose which of your libraries. So if you want your students to have access to it or not. So I'm going to click done on that. I'm going to add Bitmoji, of course. Now Bitmoji, notice I don't have that option because Bitmoji is only enabled for teachers. I'm going to click on Canva so I can add that as well. So I'm going to enable that app. And when I do that, I have settings to add it to all my classes. I suggest select all. So by default, those apps are turned on. If you need to turn them off, you can always do that. I'll show you how you go into the settings once we've added the apps. I'm going to add Google Drive so I can pull directly from my Google Drive. And again, all apps. So that means students can bring in artifacts that they've collected in their Google Drive into their digital portfolio. We're going to turn on add graphic organizers. We're going to look at those shortly. I'm going to enable that app. I'm going to allow all students access to that as well. I'm going to turn on animated emojis as well. Turn it on for all students, or all, really not students, but all books that are in your library. And you can tailor what those books look like for each of your students. So I'm going to enable an app for this one. Of course, we want the feedback stickers. We're going to add in Google Maps as well. And you'll notice that some of these are only premium options. So that's one of the advantages of our upgraded version of Book Creator that teachers have access to. So I'm also going to add in 3D models, click enable, turn it on for all books. There we go. So now I've added in those apps. Let's take a look at what those apps look like right now. Now that I've added those apps, I'm going to click on that plus again. And when I go back to more, you'll see that those apps have been added to your app toolbar. I mentioned that I can go to the settings gear and adjust which books have access to this. So if I can go to the 3D models, I can go to settings from here, and then I could toggle them on or off if you want to turn them on or off for a particular book. So let's take a look at what this 3D models is. So this is a fantastic way to make your books even more engaging, whether you're creating them for your students, or more importantly, if your students are creating them to show what they're learning in any content area. So I can go down here. Maybe I am talking about places and travel, and I want to click on that. There's actually a number of different 3D models here. So I'm going to click on this one. This is actually Mount Fuji in Japan. So I can, as a student, I can manipulate this. I can look at it, zoom in, examine it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add this to my book. When I do that, it becomes an item that I can maneuver around. I can move it wherever I want. I can resize it so it's even bigger or smaller, and I can put some context. So I can add text to explain what this is and why I want our students to examine it, what they're thinking, and I can pose a question as well to engage them in that content. So I'm going to go to the next page here, and I'm going to check out some other options. So let's go to more. Again, now I'm going to look at Google Maps. So this is fantastic because now if I'm in a social studies class or an ELA class and we're talking about a particular place or location, I can search for it on the map. So I'm going to pick Atlanta. So by default, it's going to take me to downtown Atlanta. I can zoom in or out. I could relocate this. So maybe I was really wanting to talk about downtown Atlanta. Notice I zoomed in right here. This is what I picked. I can click add, and that particular screenshot of the map has been loaded as an image. And now I can also, to level this up, I can go to the pen tool, which I've already shown you, and I can annotate on this image. So I'm going to go to red, and if I want to circle where Peachtree Center is down here, and I'm going to click done. And that image has now been added as something that's on top of my map that I've added here. So this is a great option for students to annotate about physical features, to create a story that includes the map for settings in a location, whether it is current map or they might be talking about historical locations as well. Let's look at some other features. So let's go up here to more. Again, feedback stickers. Who doesn't love a good sticker? I can throw these stickers right in here for my design to give students guidance, but also when you're reviewing your students' work, I can their work. I can also go over here and check out the animated emoji. I can check out the animated emojis and add those in as well. These are great for fun bullet points or feedback as well. Another thing that I can add is a graphic organizer. We're going to come back here. I'm working my way down the toolbar here, but we're going to come back to graphic organizers. I can add elements or items directly from my Google Drive. I can add a Canva design in here, and I can also add in a Bitmoji. So if I go to Bitmoji, I've already linked my Genmoji here. I can use these as custom stickers as well. So I can find a good job one, and I'm going to add this here. And so now your students, you can throw your Bitmoji on their work as well. Again, Bitmojis is only accessible by teachers, not by students. All right, we got one more thing I want to show you here that's great is I can add in animated GIFs. So happy Friday. There we go. I can search for those that I want to bring in here. Who doesn't love a good Friday dance? So I can add this to the design as well. So GIFs are fun for feedback